The massive warship shuddered as another blast rocked through space. On the bridge of the Galactic Alliance flagship, Star Guardian, Admiral Robert White gripped his command chair tightly. His eyes widened in horror as he watched the nearby star begin to pulse with an unnatural purple light. "Sir, energy readings are off the charts," the young officer at the sensor station shouted, his voice trembling. "The star, it's going to..." Before he could finish, the view screen automatically darkened as the star exploded. The blast wave approached their fleet at impossible speeds, far faster than any natural supernova. This was the Void Collective's weapon, turning stars themselves into tools of destruction. "All ships, emergency jump," Admiral White commanded, but he knew it was already too late. The purple-tinted energy wave slammed into the fleet's outer defense line. 20 ships vanished instantly, their atoms scattered across space. The Star Guardian's shields held for exactly 3 seconds longer than the others. In those precious moments, White managed to transmit one final message to Alliance Command. "Fall back to the inner systems. They can control the stars themselves. We cannot stop them. Repeat, we cannot." The transmission cut off as the Star Guardian disappeared into the violet inferno. 3 sectors away, in a modest observation post on Pluto's moon Charon, Dr. Mark Thompson lowered his coffee cup with shaking hands. The long-range sensors had just recorded the death of another star system. It was the 12th this month. "Send the data to Earth Defense Command," he told his assistant, "and get me Captain Walker on the quantum line." The assistant nodded grimly. Everyone knew about the Prometheus project, Earth's first and only quantum-powered warship, still undergoing final tests in orbit around Mars. It had seemed like such an achievement just months ago. Now, against an enemy that could weaponize stars, it felt like bringing a knife to a nuclear war. Thompson's screen lit up with a familiar face. Captain James Walker looked tired, but his eyes remained sharp and alert. "Let me guess, Doctor. Another system gone." "The Centauri Defense Fleet is gone, James. The whole sector is dark." Thompson sent the sensor data through their secure channel. The Alliance's strongest battle group lasted less than 5 minutes against them. Walker studied the readings in silence. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his jaw tightened slightly. "They're getting closer. The Void Collective isn't just winning, James. They're not even slowing down. The Alliance's biggest guns might as well be throwing rocks at its tsunami." Thompson rubbed his temples. "We've analyzed their attack pattern. Earth is in their path." The captain's eyes narrowed. "How long?" 5 years, maybe less." Thompson pulled up another screen of data. "Each star they destroy seems to make them stronger. They're not just killing worlds, they're consuming energy on a scale we barely understand." Walker was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was firm. "The Prometheus isn't ready. The quantum core is stable, but we've only scratched the surface of what it can do." "Then I suggest you scratch harder, Captain." Thompson's voice cracked slightly. "Because right now, that ship of yours is the only thing we have that's different. The Alliance tried conventional weapons, antimatter torpedoes, even dimensional disruptors. Nothing worked. We need something new. Something they haven't seen before." Walker mused, almost to himself. "Something they can't predict." The quantum line crackled with static for a moment, a reminder that even humanity's most advanced communication technology was primitive compared to what they faced. "Keep watching the stars, Doctor," Walker said finally, "and pray we can figure this out before it's our sun they decide to turn into a weapon." The transmission ended, leaving Thompson alone with his cooling coffee and the weight of terrible knowledge. Outside his viewport, the distant stars continued to shine. He wondered how many of them would still be there tomorrow. In the vast darkness between the dying star systems, the Void Collective moved like a purple mist through space. They had no need for ships, no use for the clumsy tools of physical beings. They were energy, thought, and purpose combined. And they had judged this galaxy's civilizations as they had judged countless others before. None had survived that judgment. None had even come close to understanding what they truly were. But perhaps, unknown to them, humanity's desperate gamble with quantum technology would prove to be something new under the stars. Captain Walker stood at the observation deck of the Prometheus, watching as the engineering team installed the last quantum sensor array. The ship hung in Mars orbit like a silver arrow, its sleek hull reflecting the distant sunlight. Unlike the bulky warships of the Alliance, the Prometheus was built for speed and stealth, its design guided by theories that most considered impossible just 5 years ago. The ship's quantum core pulsed with a soft blue light, visible through the transparent sections of the hull. Walker remembered the day they first activated it, how the engineers had cheered when the impossible happened, and the quantum field stabilized. "Captain to the bridge." The announcement echoed through the ship's corridors. "Priority message incoming." Walker took one last look at Mars below before heading to the bridge. The red planet had become humanity's primary shipyard, its thin atmosphere perfect for space construction. As he walked, crew members nodded respectfully, their faces showing a mix of pride and worry. Everyone knew what was at stake. The bridge of the Prometheus was unlike any other spacecraft's control center. Instead of traditional stations, quantum interfaces hummed with holographic displays that seemed to float in the air. Commander Thomas Gray, the ship's tactical officer, stood by the main console with a grim expression. "What do we have, Tom?" Walker asked, settling into his command chair. "Message from the Outer Rim Beacon Network, sir. It's..." Gray paused, his face pale. "It's not just data this time. It's a recording." The main screen flickered to life, showing the alien face. The being appeared reptilian, with scales that shimmered like oil on water. Its eyes held the wisdom of centuries. To any who received this, the alien spoke in translated English. "I am High Commander Talax of the Alliance Third Fleet. What I send now may be our last warning to the galaxy." The image crackled with interference. "We discovered the truth about the Void Collective. They are not simply destroying stars, they are harvesting them. Each star they consume adds to their power, their consciousness. They are building towards something." Static interrupted the message momentarily. "Our scientists found a pattern in their movements. They're not random attacks. They're following specific stellar types, working their way toward." The message degraded into static before clearing again. "Earth's sun matches their preferred profile. By our calculations, your system will be targeted within 5 orbital cycles. But we found something else, something that might give you a chance. Our readings showed quantum fluctuations in their energy pattern. If you have any technology that can..." The message cut off abruptly, replaced by sensor data streaming across the screen. The bridge was silent for a long moment. Walker studied the data, his mind racing. "Get Dr. Reed up here," he ordered finally. "She needs to see this." Dr. Anna Reed arrived minutes later, her usual neat appearance slightly disheveled from rushing to the bridge. Her eyes widened as she saw the sensor readings. "These patterns," she said, fingers flying over the quantum interface. "Captain, they're almost exactly like the resonance frequencies we detected during our core tests." Walker leaned forward. "What are you saying, Doctor?" "The Void Collective. They're not just energy beings. They exist in a quantum state, like our core, but on a massive scale." Her voice grew excited. "That's why conventional weapons don't work. You can't fight quantum phenomena with physical weapons. But our core..." She looked up, eyes bright with realization. "We might be able to interact with them directly." "Can you modify our systems?" Walker asked. "Make the core compatible with these readings?" Reed nodded slowly. "Yes, but we'll need to test it. And Captain..." She hesitated. "If I'm right about this, we're not just building a weapon. We might be creating the first bridge between our reality and theirs." Walker looked at the starfield displayed on the main screen. Somewhere out there, the Void Collective was moving closer, consuming stars as they came. They had 5 years to prepare, to turn this experimental ship into humanity's last hope. "Get started, Doctor," he ordered. "And Commander Gray, Begin combat drills. If we're going to save Earth, we need to be ready for anything." As the crew rushed to their tasks, Walker remained in his chair studying the alien message again. They had a chance. Small, desperate, but real. Now they just had to make it count. The Prometheus's quantum core hummed louder than usual as Dr. Reed made another adjustment. She had been working for 18 hours straight, but the excitement in her eyes hadn't dimmed. The engineering bay, usually spotless, was now covered with holographic calculations and scattered equipment. "Try it now," she called out to her team. The quantum core's blue glow shifted to a deeper purple, matching the color they had seen in the recordings of the Void Collective. "Yes, that's it." Captain Walker entered the engineering bay just as the core stabilized at its new frequency. "Report, Doctor," he said, noting the tired but triumphant expressions on the engineering team's faces. "We did it, Captain," Reed said, pointing to the readings. "We've matched our quantum field to their energy signature. The core isn't just producing power anymore. It's creating a quantum bridge." Walker studied the displays. Even with his limited scientific knowledge, he could see the difference. The energy patterns were beautiful, like waves of light dancing across the screens. "Will it work as a weapon?" Reed's expression grew serious. "It's more complicated than that. We're not just attacking them. We're reaching into their world. Every test shows the same thing. They're not evil. They're desperate. Desperate enough to destroy entire civilizations," Walker reminded her. "True, but look at this." Reed pulled up a new display. "Their energy pattern has a rhythm to it, like a heartbeat. But it's getting faster, more chaotic. They're running from something, Captain. Something that scares even them." Before Walker could respond, Commander Gray's voice came over the intercom. "Captain, to the bridge. We're picking up unusual readings from the training area." Walker gave Reed a nod. "Keep working on it. We need to be ready." He headed to the bridge, his mind racing with the implications of Reed's discovery. The bridge was tense when he arrived. Gray stood at the tactical station, his face illuminated by the red warning lights. "Sir, the combat drones we've been using for training. They're acting strange." Walker watched as the practice drones, usually predictable in their movements, began flowing together like liquid metal. Their surfaces rippled with the same purple energy they had seen in the core. "The quantum field is affecting them," Walker realized. "Shut them down." "That's just it, sir," Gray said. "We can't. They're not responding to commands anymore." The drones had formed a sphere now, pulsing with energy. It looked disturbingly similar to the recordings they had of the Void Collective. "Get Reed up here," Walker ordered, "and prepare the emergency containment field." Reed arrived moments later, already checking readings on her tablet. Her eyes widened as she saw the drone sphere. "This is incredible. The quantum field isn't just copying their energy. It's creating the same conditions that created them." "Is it dangerous?" Walker asked, watching as the sphere grew larger. "Not exactly." Reed's fingers flew over her controls. "It's like we've accidentally created a tiny piece of their reality, a window into their world." The sphere suddenly collapsed, the drones falling harmlessly to the deck. But the readings continued to spike. "Doctor," Walker said slowly, "are you saying we could use this?" Reed nodded excitedly. "We're not ready to match their power, but we don't have to. If we can understand them, communicate with them." She paused, looking at the fallen drones. "We might be able to offer them something they need more than our stars." Walker thought about the desperate rhythm Reed had discovered in their energy pattern. "A safe haven," he said quietly. "A way to stop running." "Exactly." Reed was already making notes. "But we'll need to modify the whole ship. Every system will have to work with the quantum field." "How long?" "A month, maybe 2. We'll have to test everything, make sure we can control it." She looked up at him. "And Captain, the crew will need training. This isn't like any weapon they've used before. We'll be riding a wave of quantum energy between two realities." Walker nodded, looking at his crew. They were tired, but their faces showed determination. Earth had trusted them with its best ship, its brightest minds, and its last hope. "Whatever it takes," he said. "We have a chance now. Let's make it count." Alarms blared through the Prometheus as the ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Jupiter's orbit. The gas giant's massive form filled half the view screen, its stormy surface a mix of browns and oranges. But it wasn't the planet that had triggered the alerts. "Contact," Commander Gray shouted from his station. "Purple energy signature detected, bearing 040. "It's them, Captain." A Void Collective scout. Captain Walker stood from his chair, his heart racing, but his voice steady. "Battle stations. Dr. Reed, is the quantum core ready?" "Ready as it'll ever be," Reed replied from her new station on the bridge. The last 2 months of modifications had changed the Prometheus in ways that would have seemed impossible before. The quantum field hummed through every part of the ship now, making it feel almost alive. The enemy appeared on their screens, a swirling mass of purple energy, roughly the size of a small shuttle. It moved like smoke in zero gravity, its form constantly shifting. "They haven't spotted us yet," Gray reported. "Our quantum camouflage is holding." Walker nodded. This was their chance to test their new weapons without facing the full might of the collective. "Take us in, slow and quiet. Ready the quantum lance." The Prometheus glided forward, its silver hull now rippling with faint purple patterns that matched the enemy's energy signature. They had learned to hide in plain sight, using the collective's own nature against them. At 5,000 kilometers, the scout suddenly stopped moving. "They've detected us," Reed announced, her fingers dancing over her controls. "The quantum field is starting to interact with their energy pattern." "Now we'll see if all our theories work," Walker said. "Fire the quantum lance." A beam of concentrated quantum energy shot from the Prometheus's bow. Unlike traditional weapons, it didn't travel through space. It twisted space itself, creating a bridge between their reality and the quantum realm where the Void Collective existed. The scout's form distorted as the beam hit it. Purple energy scattered like shattered glass, then reformed. But something was different now. "Captain," Reed called out excitedly. "We're getting feedback. Not just energy readings. Actual data. They're trying to communicate." The main screen filled with shifting patterns of light and color. Slowly, they formed into recognizable shapes, then into words. "Why do you exist in both?" Walker looked at Reed, who nodded. They had prepared for this possibility. "Send our response," he ordered. Reed transmitted the carefully prepared message. "We have learned to bridge the gap. We know you are running. We want to help." The scout's form pulsed rapidly, its color shifting between purple and blue. "Impossible. Physical beings cannot understand. Can not help." "We're getting more data from their energy field," Reed reported. "Captain, I was right. They're scared. Whatever they're running from, it's following them through normal space and quantum space." Before Walker could respond, the scout suddenly expanded, its energy field reaching toward them like purple lightning. "You cannot stay up here. All will be consumed." "Evasive maneuvers," Walker ordered, but the Prometheus was already moving. The quantum core pulsed strongly, and for a moment, the ship partially phased into the same reality as the scout. In that instant, they saw it clearly, not just energy, but a civilization turned to pure quantum existence in a desperate bid to survive. And behind them, growing closer across the galaxy, something darker and hungrier than anything physical space had ever known. The scout attacked with a burst of stellar energy, but the Prometheus's quantum shields held. Gray fired a second quantum lance, this time modulated to match the exact frequency they had learned from the brief connection. The scout's form wavered, then collapsed into a stable sphere. "How?" The message came through stronger now, tinged with something like hope. "You are not like the others. No, Walker transmitted back. We're something new, and we think we can help you fight back. The scouts' final message flashed across their screens before it vanished into quantum space. The great mass comes. You have HFY Stories to prove your words. Then we take your stare. Why the or what he your help. As the energy readings faded, Walker looked at his crew. They had survived their first encounter, learned more than they had hoped, but also discovered that the truth was far worse than they had imagined. Send the data to Earth, he ordered, and get me a secure channel to command. They need to know. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for two realities. The Prometheus cut through space at speeds that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Its quantum drive left no trail, making the ship nearly invisible to normal sensors. Captain Walker stood at his usual spot on the bridge, watching the stars streak by on the main screen. Another system gone dark, Commander Gray reported, his voice heavy. They had been following the path of destruction for 3 weeks now, always one step behind the main force of the Void Collective. That makes 7 this month. Dr. Reed looked up from her station, where she had been studying the data from each destroyed system. But they're leaving something behind this time. Look at these readings. Walker moved to her station. The screen showed swirling patterns of purple energy, but now there were traces of something else, a deeper darkness that seemed to eat even the quantum signals they were tracking. The thing they're running from, Walker said quietly. We're finally seeing signs of it. The bridge crew fell silent. They had named it the Great Mass, following the Void Collective's warning. But the name felt too simple for something that could frighten beings powerful enough to destroy stars. New contact ahead, Gray suddenly called out. It's different. Not Void Collective energy patterns. The main screen shifted to show their target. At first, it looked like a normal star system, but as they got closer, they could see the wrongness of it. The star was being pulled apart, not by the purple energy of the Void Collective, but by something that looked like living darkness. Full stop, Walker ordered. Reed, what are we looking at? Reed's fingers flew over her controls. It's like a quantum black hole, but it's aware. The darkness isn't just consuming the star's energy. It's consuming its quantum state, its very possibility of existence. A message flashed across their screens, transmitted on the quantum frequencies they had learned to use. You should know to be here, physical ones. 3 Void Collective ships appeared around them. Their purple energy forms more solid than the scout they had met before. These were warships, or whatever passed for warships among energy beings. We're here to help, Walker transmitted back. We've seen what's chasing you. We might have a way to fight it. Impossible. The HFY foot. It consumes all stages of being. We only delay it by feeding it lesser stars. Reed spoke up. Captain, I'm getting readings from their ships. They're damaged, not physically, but their quantum patterns are degrading. Whatever that dark mass is, even being near it hurts them. Walker made a decision. Show them, he ordered. Reed activated the Prometheus's modified quantum core. The ship's hull began to glow with a combination of purple and blue energy, creating a stable field that neither fully physical nor purely quantum. The Void Collective ships moved closer, their patterns showing surprise. How do you maintain stability? We exist in both states at once. Reed transmitted. Our quantum field can adapt, change. We think we can help you do the same. The dark mass in the distance pulsed, and all 3 Void Collective ships shuddered. Too late. The hunger grows stronger. Each star it takes. Soon it will consume ALOREA lights. Then let us help you fight it now, Walker said. Your way isn't working. You're just making it stronger. But together, we might have a chance. There was a long pause. The Void Collective ships conferred in frequencies too high for the Prometheus's systems to translate. Finally, they responded. The physical ones show wisdom. Follow us. We will take you to the mind center. But be warned. If your HLP proves FLC, yours STR will be key first we take. As the Prometheus followed the Void Collective ships deeper into space, Walker looked at his crew. They had wanted to find a way to save Earth. Instead, they had found themselves in the middle of a war for the existence of reality itself. Send everything we've learned back to Earth, he ordered. If this goes wrong, they'll need to know what they're really facing. The Prometheus continued its journey, flying between the light of normal space and the quantum realm of their strange allies, carrying the hopes of two very different forms of life toward an uncertain future. The alarm that woke Captain Walker from his short rest wasn't the normal battle alert. It was deeper, more urgent, the sound of true emergency. Captain, to the bridge now. Commander Gray's voice carried real fear. They're here. They've reached Sol. Walker ran through the Prometheus's corridors, passing crew members rushing to their battle stations. When he reached the bridge, the main screen showed a sight that made his blood run cold. The sun, Earth's star, was surrounded by purple energy clouds. Hundreds of Void Collective ships had arrived. But behind them, visible even from this distance, came the darkness they had been running from. The great mass looked like a living shadow, eating light itself as it moved. Status, Walker demanded, taking his chair. The Void Collective is moving into attack formation, Gray reported. They're going to try to consume our sun before the hunger reaches it. Dr. Reed spoke up from her station. Captain, remember what we learned in the Mind Center. If we can synchronize our quantum field with both the collective and the hunger at the same time, we might create a bridge that traps it, Walker finished. But we'll only get one chance. The bridge screen lit up with a message from the Void Collective. Step aside. Physical ones. We will make your end quick. No, Walker transmitted back. We can still try our plan. There's a chance to stop this. No chance. The hunger comes. Better a quick DET than consumption. The Prometheus shook as the first energy wave hit them. The Void Collective wasn't waiting for an answer. Purple beams of stellar energy lashed out toward the sun, beginning the process that would turn it into a supernova. Shields holding, Gray reported. The quantum reinforcement is working. Walker made his decision. Take us in. Full power to the quantum core. Reed, start the synchronization sequence. The Prometheus dove toward the sun, its hull glowing with mixed purple and blue energy. The quantum core hummed louder than ever before, pushing the ship to exist in multiple states at once. The hunger is accelerating, Gray shouted. It senses what we're trying to do. The darkness behind the Void Collective ships seemed to reach out with tentacles of pure nothing, trying to grasp their quantum signatures. Several collective ships vanished instantly, their energy forms simply ceasing to exist. Synchronization at 40%. Reed called out. We need to get closer to both of them. Walker watched as his ship flew between two impossible forces, the raw energy of the Void Collective and the ultimate entropy of the hunger. The Prometheus's hull creaked under the strain of existing in three states at once. Collective ships are breaking formation, Gray reported. They're running. No, Reed said suddenly. Look at their pattern. They're not running. They're surrounding us. They understand what we're trying to do. The Void Collective ships formed a sphere around the Prometheus, their purple energy mixing with the ship's quantum field. New messages flashed across their screens. We will try your way, physical ones. Together. Synchronization at 70%. Reed's voice was excited now. The collective is amplifying our field. The hunger reached for them with its darkness, but now the combined quantum field was strong enough to hold it back. The Prometheus's core pulsed with power as it created a bridge between normal space, quantum space, and the void where the hunger existed. It's working. Reed shouted. The bridge is forming. We need more power. Walker gripped his chair as reality itself seemed to bend around them. Divert everything to the quantum core. Everything. The Prometheus's lights dimmed as all power flowed into one final effort. The ship hung between three states of reality, acting as an anchor point for the greatest trap ever created. Bridge stabilizing, Reed reported, her voice tense. If this works. The darkness of the hunger reached for them one last time, and the final battle for reality itself began. Time seemed to stop as three forms of existence collided around the Prometheus. The ship's quantum core glowed with impossible brightness, creating a bridge between realities that had never been meant to touch. Captain Walker could feel the vibrations through his command chair as the ship struggled to maintain its position. Core temperature critical. Dr. Reed shouted over the sound of straining metal. The bridge is forming, but we can't hold it for long. Through the main screen, they watched as the hunger's darkness fought against their trap. It was like watching an ocean of shadow try to escape a net made of starlight. The Void Collective ships held their position around the Prometheus, their purple energy merging perfectly with the ship's quantum field. Hull integrity at 40%, Commander Gray reported. We're being pulled apart by the quantum forces. Walker keyed his ship-wide comm. All hands, brace for final sequence. Dr. Reed, do it now. Reed's fingers flew across her controls, initiating quantum lock. Now. The Prometheus's core pulsed one final time, and reality itself seemed to fold. The bridge they had created wasn't just a trap. It was a permanent doorway between states of existence. The hunger, caught between normal space and quantum space, found itself suddenly bound by rules it had never experienced before. It's working, Reed exclaimed. The hunger, it's being forced to take solid form. The darkness that had threatened to consume all reality began to compress. What had once been an infinite void of consumption was now being forced into a finite space. The Void Collective ships pulsed their energy in perfect rhythm, with the Prometheus's core strengthening the quantum lock. New state, HFY, the collective transmitted. The Hunji or BCO mem is MATTR. Where the living darkness had been, a small black sphere now floated in space. It was no larger than a small moon, but it contained the compressed essence of what had once threatened all of existence. What exactly did we do? Walker asked, staring at the sphere. Reed checked her readings with shaking hands. We forced it to exist in all states at once, Captain. By making it real in every possible way, we took away its ability to consume reality itself. It's just another object now. Dangerous, but containable. The Void Collective ships moved closer to the Prometheus. Their message came through clearer than ever before. You have dido and it we thought impossible. You have give in US choice again. Walker smiled. And you helped us save our son. I'd call that a fair trade. More than fair. We have a from you. Physical ones. Existence needing not be only one state, or another. We can be more. The purple energy of the collective ships began to change, taking on more solid forms while still maintaining their quantum nature. They were becoming something new, neither purely energy nor purely physical. They're evolving, Reed said in wonder, using what they learned from our quantum core to find a middle state. The main screen filled with new messages as the remains of the Galactic Alliance began contacting them. The news was spreading across space. The threat was over. Both the Hunger and the Void Collective had been transformed. Message from Earth Command, Gray reported, grinning. They're asking how a single ship managed to save the galaxy. Walker looked around at his tired but proud crew. Tell them. He paused, thinking of everything they had learned. Tell them we remembered that sometimes the best weapon isn't a weapon at all. Sometimes you just need to build a bridge. The Prometheus turned toward Earth, its quantum core now pulsing with a new kind of energy, one that combined the best of both physical and quantum existence. Behind them, the former Void Collective ships followed, no longer running, no longer consuming, but exploring their new state of being. And in the space between moments, in the quantum realm that was now a little closer to the physical world, countless civilizations began to rebuild. They had learned that the universe was bigger than anyone had imagined, and that even the darkest threats could be overcome when different forms of life worked together. The single human warship had done more than save the galaxy. It had changed the very nature of existence itself, one quantum bridge at a time.